So basically, the reason why, and oh, by the way, thank you first of all for agreeing for me to interview you this afternoon. I'm so grateful and very appreciative that you've taken your time out to let me have a conversation with you, because this is about a conversation about STEM. And the reason why I'm doing this podcast is basically is to change the way the STEM world is seen, not just where we are, not just where I am in the UK, but across the world. And what I want to do is raise awareness of the people that work within STEM, what is actually happening, the different roles within STEM, and also for us to do that, it enables us to demystify what STEM is all about, what engineering, what technology, you know, science is all about, and mathematics as well, because we want to make our world more accessible, more inclusive, you know, have a diverse type of people working within the industry. And that we're not just talking about ethnic minority, we're also talking about people who have disabilities as well, people of different background who've come in, and how they've come into the STEM world. It's not just through the traditional education system, but they may have come in through working their way up to different ways of doing that. So basically, it's raising awareness, it's changing people's attitudes, changing people's perception of what STEM is all about. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but also open a conversation. Because one of the things, when I sent you the details, is I want you to talk to me from your perspective. I don't want you to tell me what everybody else is doing. I want you to tell me your experience, what you see is happening, and what things you like to change. Because one of the things I've noticed is that we're quite good at reacting to situation rather than being proactive. So if we, as you are, you're quite aware, Rufina, you've been around for a very long time. You're a professor, aren't you? So you know what's going on in your world. And basically what I want to do is for you to talk to us and tell us more about what you do, your title, just your achievement, because we want to celebrate you, but also tell us more about what's going on within Senegal and the STEM world, and how the things that you see is that are not working very well. So looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the things that you feel can help to bring education to the masses. So we talk about young people, especially young girls. I don't know, because I know I was reading about the education system in Senegal. I know that it's quite hard, because you get to education is free up to you're 16. Is that correct? 16 years old. Can you hear me?
Sorry?
Education in Senegal is free to up to your 16, isn't it? Can you hear me? Hello?
I hear you, but I don't understand what is your question, because
I haven't
answered. Not very good.
Okay. You know what? Let's just not take. I'll ask more questions as I go along. Okay. Just let's just start off this this podcast with you just introducing yourself. I welcome Rufina, Madam Rufina Dabo. So explain who you are, describe who you are, describe your profession, what you do, and your achievements, and then I'll ask more questions. So it'll be easier rather than me trying to say too much at the beginning. Okay, the floor is yours now, Rufina.
Thank you, Margaret Ajibode.
Thank you.
I am very happy to be with you today to celebrate Women in Science. To celebrate Women in Science in Senegal is quite to celebrate women in science around the world. Why? Because we have a network, a big network. I would like to thank you for your interest to my modest person. And I hope that I am the right person to answer to your questions. My name is Mrs Rufina Dabo Sarr. I am from Senegal, Dakar, West Africa, and I am scientist. I am retired from the administration, but I am still working to promote girls and women in science.
Okay, well, thank you. So tell us more about your. Actually, this is women's. We're celebrating women in STEM, aren't we? This is our time, isn't it? February normally we celebrate Women March as well. But and I thank you that you're a champion within Senegal to promote women in STEM, women in science, as you call it. But can you just expand on who you are? I know you said you're a scientist, you're a researcher, is that correct? In the administration. What does your job entail? What is it you have achieved, and how does that relate to what you're doing with your work with women in International Network of Women in Engineering and Scientists? So can you just expand on that?
I was the teacher professor of science at the high school, Lycée Blaise Diagne High School, for 35 years. More than 35 years, less than 35 years. After I moved to the administration at the Presidency of the Republic as advisor, technical advisor, and I moved to the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education, and Ministry of Communication and ICT. And after, when I was teaching, when I was working for the administration, we create an association, national association called Association to Promote the Woman in Science. Because when we were at the university, we were very few. Boys are more than us, and they use it to call us boys, garçons manqués in French. We were like boys, but we are not boys. We are girls, but we like science, only science, and we want to perform, to do our courses, to have our diplomas, to go through scientist career. It was our challenge. It was a big challenge because it was not very passive in French.
Okay, well, that's quite interesting, because I do like the fact that it seems that most women who go into science or engineering or technology or maths, they're normally the minority within the class. It's mostly you have the majority of them in the classroom are men or boys, and they're like maybe 80 to 90%, and then you have maybe 10% that are girls in the classroom. But what I wanted to do is, can we just go back a bit? What made you fall in love with doing science? Why did you go into science? How did your education start? Who was your influence that allowed you to decide this is what I would like to do?
What influenced me?
Yeah, so why did you go into science? What was your reason for the education? just tell us your journey in your education, and then who influenced you to want to go into science? Why?
Because it was a personal choice for me.
Okay.
For me, it was a personal choice, and around me, I didn't have a role model.
Yes.
I used to see only men as teachers in mathematics, in physics, in chemistry, in science, and it was for me a motivation, a big ambition to become a professor of science. It was a big challenge for me once again.
Wow, that's.
I fight for that. I fight when I was young. I fight for that. When I was at university, I performed with boys, and when we are in the group, I was only one girl among I don't know, among 100. Comment on dit 100? What do you 100?
Among all the other boys, so you were the only female among all the other students, and they
100 boys.
Yeah.
And they used to call us boys, Mr. Boy, garçon manqué in French.
So you so you had to be like one of the boys, basically. You had to be like them. You had to act, and in order for you to fit in, you had to be like them, or be competitive and challenge the way things are being done there. Because you mentioned, one of the things you did mention is that you had to fight. You had to fight during the early stages of your career or your education system to be made. I don't know, when you say fight, are you saying that it was a struggle for you in relation to your parent, from your parents' perspective, or the community perspective, or from the education perspective? What do you mean? And then you said when you went into wanting to teach and become a professor of science as well, you had to, in a way, push and prove yourself. So can you just expand on that? What do you mean? What do you mean by fight, and what do you mean by, because you use these words. I don't know if it's just a translation from French to English, but maybe I don't want to misinterpret what you say. So please expand on what you mean.
Can you repeat again slowly?
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry. Yeah, you mentioned that you had to fight throughout the progress of your career, your education, to be, I don't know if to fit in. You said you had to fight. What do you mean by you had to fight? Because this is your words. I'm just I'm trying to understand what you mean by fight.
It was a big struggle.
Okay.
Big fight, because in our society, first, girls has an opportunity to go through education. In certain communities, it was a weeding, precocious weeding. You know precocious weeding?
The what?
Precocious weeding.
Precocious? What does that mean?
Weeding.
Sorry.
For example, the girl who has 16 years,
yeah,
has to be married.
Oh, okay. So
early wedding.
Wow. Okay. So oh my God. So really, they were getting to an age to be married off. So you had to fight against society and how they expect you to live. So did you have
in certain community?
Okay.
We had to fight against this practice. You have to fight against stereotypes. But in my community, we have the change because you are Catholics. Catholics get married not early.
Okay.
Yes,
so it's to do with the religion as well, because I know that 95% are Muslims in Senegal. Is that correct?
In Senegal, 95%.
So, are you? What's your? Are you a Muslim or you're a Catholic?
I am Christian. I am.
Oh, right. So I wasn't sure. Okay. All right. So you in the.
Yes. Sorry.
No. I was just going to ask you. So, as a Catholic within the Senegal society, you didn't have to marry so early in your young age.
No.
Okay.
Not early. Not early. And another thing in my own family, my father tells that boys and girls have the same change.
Equal. I like that. I like your daddy. I love your daddy. Equal. Exactly.
Equal. When we have to go to the school, we go to the school. When you come back, boys and girls make the domestic work.
I like your father. What's your father's name? Let's acknowledge him.
They wash their clothes. Our brothers wash their clothes. They go to
draw
the
water.
They go to my husband is.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry.
He come from the sport. No problem.
Yeah.
And they wash their clothes. They go to bring water for us when you are at the kitchen. You know.
I like your. You see, yeah. So this actually.
My father and my mother give us the same chance to go through our study.
Do you know? And I think. Go on, carry on. Ahead. No, I was just going to say that was your influence, because in your household, in your father, in your young family household, you had encouragement, especially from the male side. And I think that made a huge difference. And your mom as well. So they wanted the best for both the boys and the girls in your family. So they influenced you quite a lot. So science itself, even though you may have wanted it, it may have been, if they didn't encourage you in getting your education and reaching the highest standard possible, it may have been more difficult for you. So the struggle wasn't more internal, more the external forces, people outside, and how they saw you and your travel itself. So, you know, I do appreciate that. I think when we have the right family network, it makes a huge difference how far we go in our career, how far we go in society, because they are our enablers, they are our supporters, they encourage you to achieve the high standard. And I think that makes a huge difference. And it's quite interesting when you said, because you're a Christian or Catholic, if you were in a Muslim environment, I'm sure that Muslim within people that actually are moving quite hard, but it requires the parent to encourage that. So when you went into of course you climbed the ladder and you became professor of science in an education establishment. Now, why did you have this hunger to change things for women in science in Senegal? Why did you feel that you had a role to play to bring that change in Senegal concerning women?
You know, since more than 20 years, we are trying to change through our association. I mentioned earlier, because girls has to have role model, and we have to try to fight against stereotypes which make believe that the girl has not to go to the school, or has not to go to the university. It is our strategy to help the generation after us to change. Since the family, our parents, our mom, our fathers, our brothers, to help girls and females to get a good career in STEM. It is not enough to study science, but it is more important for the society if girls and women study science and get career and get a position, a good position to make good decision. If you are not at the good position, you cannot change the situation. I don't know, what do you call, how do you call plafond de verre, the roof?
The glass ceiling.
Roof.
The glass ceiling.
The glass, yes.
The glass ceiling, to break the glass ceiling, okay.
A big problem because you can study STEM, but you cannot become a decision maker. If you are not decision maker, the situation will still be the same, not progress, not progress. It's my do
you know, 100%.
my conviction.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I think this is so important. That's why we want to educate the public about what STEM entails. What does it mean to be a scientist? So you're a professor of science. You know your struggle. You know that you had to really prove yourself to get to the position you're in. You also knew that there was something lacking because you knew there was a gap between what society expected of you and what the education system was providing. And you also understand that unless your education is power, education is knowledge. If you have the knowledge, you can make the change, you can turn things around. And the more we have a good mixture of both male and female in high position, in decision-making positions, then we can see the change and it can filter down, because then you can see people who look like you in a high position and you want to aspire to be like them. And like for your example, there are people who look up to you because they see what is possible to achieve. So you've got to that glass ceiling, even beyond, even if you haven't, you're in your society in Senegal, that's quite high based on what you've explained about the education system, based on what you've explained about how females and males are treated, what they expect of a female up to a certain age, and how they expect, if you're whatever background or community is saying, you'll follow that route because that's all you know. But when you have someone within your own family, so for example, your father encouraged equality, he made you feel, he valued who you are. Your importance was just as much important as your brothers and others around you. And he showcased what's possible. And that, I believe, was a driver for you to want to achieve the highest possible scale. To me, I take my hat off to your dad because I think your dad and your mom made a huge difference in helping you to get to helping and guiding and encouraging you to achieve whatever you wanted to achieve in your life. And that also filtered down to your family, your children, people around you. They're influenced by what they see, that if Madame Rufina can achieve this, I can achieve this as well. So basically, so that's okay. So tell me, I love what you said. Again, I want to celebrate you, but what I also want to say, thank you for giving me an outlet into why you were fighting, because of this association that involved and wanted to make a difference where women and females were concerned in Senegal, and also you've been able to reach with other women from across the globe through InWest and through other societies or associations you're connected with. So what would you say, based on your experience? Again, I don't want you to tell me about what everybody else is doing. Based on your experience, what would you say is the good, the bad, and the ugly in Senegal concerning trying to get the drive and getting more young females or females in general into STEM? And what can we, yeah, so if you start with that, tell me more on that. So the good, the bad, the ugly.
In what happens in Senegal is quite the same in our countries in Africa.
Okay.
West Africa, East, Central, Austral Africa, because the percentage of girls or women in science is very, very, very low. 30%, around 30%. Now, what are good things? Good things are that we have several associations or organizations who want to change the situation. Is good thing. And I know Shine to Lead. I am member of AFSTEC Senegal, member of Shine to Lead. Shine to Lead is a mentoring association. I know Fawe. We know Miss Science, Miss Mathematics at the Ministry of Education. They organize an award for girls at middle and high school. This award is called Miss Math, Miss Science. It is a good thing because when you see around the world, they take girls to become Miss, and through the physical to the beauty, but the brain can be beautiful too.
Of course.
Isn't it?
Very true.
No, physical is good, but the brain is very, very important. That is what is good in Senegal. And the Ministry of Education tried to, through the high school called Mariama Ba at Gore. You know Gore Island?
No, I don't. Where's
You never? Gore Island is slavery.
Oh,
slavery.
Okay.
Slavery island. They put the slaves there, and they go to America.
So to America. This is in Senegal. I didn't know that. Sorry. You know, I'm learning something new every day.
Yes, I can write it if you know, if you want. Got it. I will tell you.
Yeah, no problem. Please do.
Write it. Got it. Let's go. Yes. And there we have, it is the high school for only girls.
Okay.
To perform, to become science, to become leader. And we have another school for excellence at Durban, at another part of Senegal. It is science for science, both girls and boys. If you look at what is wrong, what is not good, I can share with you the fact of in Senegal now, we don't have laboratoire, I don't know, to do experiences in chemistry.
So the laboratory is not
yes,
not
yes. I can take 1 minute to give my son his I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, to do experiences, and if you have to do science without experiencing, it is not very good. You know. And another thing in Senegal is that scientists, engineers, female scientists and female engineers are not promoted as members of government, you know?
As members of who? Okay, government.
Government.
Okay.
Government. Ministers, politicians are promoted. It is not a good. And our president is a scientist.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Is that good or bad?
He is a scientist. He is helping scientists and engineer careers. He's geologist. You know geologist? Geology.
That's the name?
Earth science.
Ah, okay.
Geology. Geology.
Oh, geologist.
You know,
okay, geologist. Oil. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Geology.
Geology. Okay. He's a geologist.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Voila. He has studied in Dhaka, and when he knows the importance of science for the development, but I think that it is not enough. It is not enough. The number of science is not enough in the government.
In the government.
In the direction. And I try to do a podcast at the radio emission, scientist emission, to promote scientist cultural science.
Okay.
Promotion de la culture scientifique.
Okay.
You know, you have science, but
yes,
in other part you have cultural.
Oh, cultural. Okay, science and culture. So that it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's for any for everyone. Everybody.
Okay.
Has to know what is the importance of science is in his life or her life or his education or her education. It's very important.
Indeed.
And when twice I get emission broadcast at the national radio, and when we go through 1 year, 3 year, 2 3 year, they get out. The director tell us you can stop. You can stop your.
So let me understand this. So basically, they're not. What I'm hearing is they're not taking it very seriously, or the government isn't. Within the government itself, do they have a good mix of both females and male in the seats that are in the council chambers or whatever? Or is it just your president that has got, he's scientist, but everybody else is all from the different backgrounds? And it's a mixture of women and female, men and female.
We have very, very good scientists in Senegal. But what is the wrong thing? Scientists don't, they are not promoted at the level, at the high level of decision.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. So really you're okay. I don't want to go political, so let's leave that. So there are lots of, so what would you propose? Because there is an issue. So you've told us about the good, you told us about the bad, and the struggle it is. Unless you have people in the right position, people who are making decisions that affect the nation. So for example, unless you have women scientists or people who are supporters of getting more women in science, engineering, technology, and mathematics in the right position, you're always going to have this lack. So the glass ceiling is always going to be there. So what, from your perspective, tell me how would you propose? Because I know you're doing lots of things on the groundwork, on the ground level. You're doing lots of projects and everything else. But what would you like to see? Because I think for us to change something, we have to be visionary. We have to be innovative. We have to create that platform to allow us to celebrate that. For example, I mean, I know there's a woman in America, she's from Senegal as well. And what she's trying to do is create a database of people in STEM in Africa. So do you think that maybe a collaboration where you can gather women in science or people that are in STEM in Senegal that you can showcase? Because unless we can see them visually, unless we can see what is real, what is actually happening on the ground level, there's no way you can change people's mind, because people are stuck by what they see. They're influenced by the environment, the community. So what would you propose? I really love, seriously, I want you to, because this is the platform for us to start a conversation. This is a platform that we want to change how people see STEM and how we can encourage more young people, females, into that role. We want to change how the education system is being done at the moment, change the curriculum, make it more accessible. So how would you propose that for Senegal, where women in STEM is concerned?
Well, we have to continue what we are doing in terms of conference, in terms of association activities, but it is not these activities have not a real impact. The government has to help us to put female scientists at the level in function according they comment on dit ça en anglais, according the diploma they performance. And you know, to be part of the of a government in several parts of the world, in several countries, you oftenly they ask you to be political people. You know?
Yeah. So from a
scientist,
yeah.
Scientists, hold on.
That's
and
right.
Scientists oftenly they stay on in the laboratory at the university, so they cannot become member of government to make decisions.
So
do you know?
Yeah. So can we turn it on its head, where we bring someone from the government into the association? So someone who has a leg in the political world, can we try and get them to support what you do? Because if you can't get women scientists or engineers or technologists or mathematicians to go into the political into politics, can you or anybody within your association, do you know somebody within the government that supports what you do, and let them be part of your organization so that they can be the bridge between what you do and what is happening in the government? So the decisions are not just based on you making a lot of talking about the things that are needed or change and on a ground level, on a grassroots level, but you are now moving to the next level by getting somebody in the political world to come and be part of you. Because if you can get them to support what you do, they can see the importance of it, the importance of educating young girls, young men. We want equality. That's basically what you're talking about. Then for you to change that, you've got to get somebody or the media to talk about what is happening. Go to the community, to the local urban, the villages, or I don't know, the places that are not hearing what you're saying, so that they can see the change, even if it's by the media, the TV, radio. Those things go to the community that maybe you can't reach based on what you do.
I get your concern. Several activities. You have to do several activities. I was telling you, we had a broadcast for cultural promotion of cultural science. And you know, if they tell they take science and music, they are not the same, but you can notice that that at the media you have mostly music all the day, and you have not emission broadcast to speak about science or technology. You know?
Okay. Madam Rufina,
yes.
but the thing is, I think we're looking at it in a very narrow way. If you think about, let's use your example about music and science or technology. How do you music? What about the instruments they use? There is engineered. So if you can't fight the system as it is, why don't you showcase how science and technology engineering is helping bring music to the forefront? So even broadcasting, they're engineers behind the sound producers, they're engineers, they're scientists, isn't it? So what I'm saying is that instead of us trying to fix it in the way we know how, it's maybe we have to be creative. We have to be innovative in our approach, in our process, because how, you know, we even in the UK, one of the things we are struggling with is we're struggling to get young people or female or people of ethnic background to get into using science. They have them, but they're not following the career path. So we struggle there, even in America, even in Australia, across the world. So your struggle is just the same struggle that we're having, but it's a different approach. But what I'm saying is that if we look at the basic science, engineering, technology, and maths have penetrated the industry across the board, even politics. And I think we just, we have to, as you're saying, we have to look at different ways to approach the same problem. Because if we only look at one way, we're always going to have that struggle. So if you can't go to them, bring them into your domain. If music is, or however, whatever's influencing society is taking over, look up the different aspects of how science, technology, engineering, mathematics is influencing whatever it is influencing the society, and then highlight that. Create a platform of what is it, how it's penetrating the society. We are everywhere. Even young girls, even you know, like Madam Rufina, you are an example. The people who have met you appreciate your achievement. I appreciate your achievement, but I think maybe we need to change how we approach changing society. The education system, you're right. I think you need. Yeah, go on.
You are trying to do it, but it is not easy. And my perspective is really to sensitize you. Is it the right word?
What's that?
To sensitize.
Oh, standardize. Okay, yeah.
Sensitize. First, families, school, communities. You can, comment on dit les élèves, boys and students. We have to bring them to love science. We have a program, J'aime les STEM, I love STEM, season 3. You are in the season 3. And for the month of math, which is Women Month, because
March,
of
okay.
IWD. Yes. We want to organize to launch the program called Lion of Science.
Okay.
Lion of Science. 23 of March. At the high school, girls' high school, called John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Okay.
Dakar.
Okay.
Our perspective is to accompagner, to bring girls to bring the girls to do science.
Okay.
Often.
Okay.
To bring them to do science, to keep them in the science filière until they have the diploma and to do career.
But okay,
my question, perspective too, we have to change. If you do activities, now you see that we have several girls since more than 20 years, you see now that several girls are in science and engineering.
Okay, that's good.
It is different when we were at the university. You are only two or three as the career scientist.
Okay, but because one of the things you meant, I mean, where women, young girls are concerned, where education is concerned, that not many of them go to school. So, but your target are those in school. So what about those who don't go to school at all? How do you engage with them?
Sorry?
Okay,
Sorry?
the activities you're explaining are for those in school to encourage them to do science or STEM, but not everyone goes through the education path. Is that because it's about 50? I think it's about nearly 60% are in education, maybe plus or minus, based on stats that I've seen on the internet. So I may be wrong. But what about those who are not in the education system? How do you engage with them? How do you change or give them that opportunity to see what's available? Because my concern is that what you're saying, and I think it's brilliant approach, is a brilliant way to bring more girls to do science. But we also mean that there's going to be marginalized those who are not in the education system who miss out. But also, I think also the danger is that we become elitist. That means only those who've gone through the system can benefit from what you're trying to do. And therefore, those who are not in the education system will lose out on that opportunity. So how do we change? How do you change that to make sure young girls or parents, or how do you educate the public? Because really it's the public you're trying to educate, because you can't, you're lucky if you're in the education system, you're lucky if you're able to finish your school and you're not going to be married off at the age of 16. But what about those who don't even go to school? What happens to them? Or they go up to a certain age and they drop out because of whatever. How do you engage with them?
Out of the education system, it is very difficult for us to reach them because the illiteracy.
Yeah, literacy. Yeah, So the education.
Yes, it's very high in our countries. So they can engage. We can engage them at the training system, but it will not be very high for them.
Okay. But I put my hand up because I feel that's wrong, because I think you're already shutting sending people in society out of this program. There must be another way to approach it. I understand what you're saying. Illiteracy is quite high. And so, but how do you change that? Because unless you bring a different way of life to somebody, all they know is what they know, isn't it? So they grow with that, they live with that because that's all they know. It's only when someone says, "Oh no, but you can do it this way," they say, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. I never knew that." So isn't that why we educate? Isn't that why we want to change how people see? You had the luxury of your parents who encouraged you. But not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone has the opportunity to see things in a different way. Not everyone moves from their small house to go out, or maybe they live in a village, I don't know. But I'm just saying, we want to educate the public, the wider audience, at least if they know it's possible, what is possible, then maybe their parents will be able to make that informed decision. I'm just putting out there. Again, this is why we have a conversation. I want to change our thinking. I want to change the public's thinking. I want us to have a conversation. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge me. I want to challenge the nation to look at things in a different way. That's what I want to do. I'm called the positive Disruptor.
In Senegal,
Yeah.
In Senegal,
Yeah.
in Senegal, you have formal system and informal system. In the formal system, we have the primary school, under primary school, secondary level, in university. But in formal system, you cannot have the same progression. And at the informal system, you use language, our mother tongues, you know?
Yeah.
Voila. But it is not easy. And
Madam Rufina, I understand we don't want things to be okay. We know what is easy to work with, but what we're saying here, what I want this platform to do is to challenge what is not easy and see how can we make it. It's to challenge us to be creative. It's to challenge us to be proactive. It's to challenge us to be innovative in changing society. You cannot change it by just going with what works. You have to change it by what does not work. It's by getting out of that comfort zone of what works to what does not work at all. And then look at different ideas. And yes, you're right. Adapt it to suit. For example, you talk about speaking in the mother tongue. Of course. But then again, how else would you speak to them? How will they understand you if you try and speak to them? But it doesn't mean that you can't translate, you can't convert. It doesn't mean that you can't help them to grow and the education thing, but we have to start somewhere. That's my challenge. But I don't want to go there because that's another issue altogether. But
it is a big challenge.
But it's not impossible. That's what I'm saying, Madam Rufina. It's not impossible. I want to challenge you.
I agree with you.
I want to challenge you to think about it. But before we go, because but what I want you to do is just I know I moved and I'm moving and only because I want to challenge our thinking. I don't want to be comfortable. What I want you to do is give me something, five things that you like to change, but also don't just say education, this, but give me something that what you're seeing that you can do, not just your activities which you already do now, but you know, the activities work up to a point, but I think you need to do some adaptation to suit the bigger, the public, the wider audience, I think. So tell me 5 things, because I know I don't want this to drag. I don't want you to be on this too long, because I want them to hear you. I want them to see what you're doing. I also want to see what you like to see change. You know, and it's not about trying to please society. It's about you telling your truth, what is real for you, what you would like, your passion should come through those 5 points as how you like to change things to help make it easier for more young people, especially females, to follow the STEM world. And I'll keep quiet as well.
You want me to give you some recommendations?
Yes, please. 5, not based on what you wrote to me,
yes.
But just from your heart, what you truly would like to see change. Yeah, in Senegal.
I want to see a change in the system of our education first.
Okay.
I want to see a change deeply on the parents' education too, and to demystify science subjects. The more important point is to promote science. And the last one is to build labs in middle and high school. I think I ended. I give you your answer. You
Well,
answer you.
yes, no. Thank you very much, Madam Rufina. This is good. I'm not so. This is just us having a conversation, but I also don't want you to feel. I want it to be about us celebrating you, but also about the things you like to see, because you know you raised some very good points that unless and especially where Senegal is concerned, where the political world is concerned, even though your president is a scientist, the real practice, how it's not in the sense that, although it's encouraging, he's not, as you're saying, he's not doing enough. So we need more from Senegal's point of view. You need more women or more supporters of science to be in the right position in the political world in order to bring change, in order to get more people in the education system, especially young females, or females, doesn't have to be young, to follow that path, but also have based on their performance and get the promotion as well. Because it's no use you go through that path and then you're not promoted. You find you've got the qualification, but you're not using it as you should do, and you're not getting the recognition as you should do. But also you talked about the education system, that there is two folds that I've heard. The two folds is that there's that formal education system which works, which is where you and your activities can have a huge impact. But there's an other side to this, of the coin, is that the wider audience, those that are illiterate, or those who don't have the opportunity, or not going to school for whatever reason, especially young girls, based on whatever it is, are not benefiting from all your activities. So and I think it's about, we want to encourage the wider audience to have that opportunity to see how STEM can change. So even if it means talking to them in the mother tongue, that's okay. But we have to adapt. I don't know what activities, but you have to adapt it to suit the audience, isn't it? It's just like you talking to me. What you say to me here is maybe different from someone else who's going to interview, because what they want is maybe different. So they want maybe a more formal thing, whereas here we are more informal, and I'm challenging you, and I'm challenging us in the STEM world to change and educate the public. And for us to educate the public, we've got to be able to reach them. We've got to engage with them. So that's what I heard. You also talked about changing the public's, the parents, and how the perception of what they see as a young girl's path in society, and that's something I think is true, because unless you change the public's perception, unless you demystify what science is, you cannot engage with somebody who does not know what you're talking about. So therefore you have to bring it down to their level. You have to adapt what you're saying to their level, so they can understand and grab what you're saying, because they have to understand what the benefits are for them. Because if they can't see how it benefits them, then they're going to ignore us, isn't it? So it's about changing people's mind, but also showing the gain from wanting to embrace this way of life, isn't it? So, and also as we talked about the government, but it's a general thing. It's about us, changing and getting people, but it's changing our mindset as well, because we need for us to challenge somebody else, we've got to challenge ourselves too. But you know what, I am grateful, because I'm celebrating you, because you talked about your journey, and one of the things I've picked up with those people I've interviewed is that the support they had from their family made a huge difference to help them with their career path, even with all the struggles outside. Because you had a strong foundation, it helped leapfrog you to the right place. And to me, that's a wonderful thing. And there's so many people who are influenced by what you have achieved, and they aspire to be like you. And to me, that's a celebration. And I'm celebrating you because I got to meet you through InWest, and we've been in conversation for quite a long time. But I'm grateful that you were willing to let me have this conversation with you. That's what I want, because I'm a positive disruptor. I want to change the way we think and challenge ourselves too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the journey with me today.
Yes, I'm very, very glad to have been with you. But you know, I am Francophone.
I know.
And my English is not very good.
No, your English was brilliant. It's better than my French.
I apologize.
No, my French is terrible.
This celebration is very good for me, and through me, our association, Abstract Senegal, my colleagues. I would like to thank you very, very, very much, because you are together in the same struggle to bring more girls in the science, in the STEM, because the girls become women tomorrow.
Exactly, the future, aren't they? Exactly.
And they will be decision makers tomorrow.
Exactly.
They will be role models tomorrow.
Indeed.
It is very important. It is a very important point for us.
Indeed.
And the concern is a general concern around the world.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Rufina.
I'm very, very glad. Thank you very much for your interest.
Well, thank you for, as I said, taking time out. So we'll speak again. What I'll do is when I finish, I'll let you hear it before I launch. It's not going to be launching next. Well, I'll let you know anyway, but I'll send you details. I'll send you just as you're free to hear it before I send it out. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Yes. Okay. Well, have a good day. Over.
Yes.
Okay.
Over. Merci.
Bye.
I take